Tottenham Hotspur, I mean, they must be hanging their heads in shame right now. Yesterday was a huge day at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and it was the first double header for the men's team and the women's team doing a game at the same time. And I, going into this game, thought, okay, Tottenham will put on a performance, and it was just so meh. That's the only way you can describe it at the minute. Well, yet they're still doing all right on the table.
Well, in the first half they were okay. They're good. They got the lead, and they could have increased the lead quite comfortably in the first half. And the moment they didn't, and then they paid a price. Tottenham are hopeless at the back. Now, they are. I can't describe it. They are awful. Every time I watch them, there's someone who steps up and makes a mistake. And I was thinking of the bigger picture with Spurs is like, well, okay, look at their biggest buyers. What is the problem with the football club? I'll give you their top, Shebahn, these are their top 5 signings, right? Financially, how expensive they were. Richarlison, 60 million. Ndombele, 54. Christian Romero, 45. Pedro Porro, 40. Davison Sanchez, 38. Now, out of that 5, they're their most expensive. Would you say any of them have been a huge success?
No, but I also look and go that the structure of Tottenham just now is not working. So how can the players flourish as well? That's no disrespect to Ryan Mason and the job that he's doing. But they're not clear as to where they are, and nobody seems to want that job. I mean, hearing there that Julian Nagelsmann's back in the frame once again after that all going away. It's like, what is the plan here?
Well, I believe the structure of the football club, and this may sound ridiculous to some, but the amount of clubs I've known that have built a new stadium and then they have a real downside.
Yeah.
It's not everybody. Someone will always find an example.
It's like a curse.
Well, it feels like a curse at times, and Tottenham have spent heavy. They've gone after players. But the bigger picture for Spurs and the coaching team and everybody involved is that not many players improve at Spurs. Don't go, Harry Kane, you go, well, he's the obvious example.
He's the exception.
And you could probably go Heung-min Son. You could say, well, he's improved at Spurs. But now, after that, you're scratching your head. Right, so out of this club, that for the go past the last decade, who really excelled at Spurs? There's been too many players going backwards more than going forwards. Where City, we're talking about City, nearly everyone you mention has improved, even though they were great players before. Bernardo Silva's a far better player than he first was when he came from Monaco. Rodri's definitely a better player than he was. And then you just go on from Jack Grealish. So the problem for Spurs, they keep buying players that don't improve.
Yeah. But is that a management thing?
Of course it is. You have to add on to... Yes, they're good players, but the coaching, the staff, and everybody involved, their duty is to improve players. What's the duty of, coaches with kids? It's to improve them.
Yes.
You're just trying to improve adults, but they don't seem to be able to do it.
And on the same subject that you're talking of not growing and moving forward, Tottenham have conceded the 6th amount of goals in the Premier League this season. And the teams round about them are Southampton, Everton, those who are flirting with relegation and have been all season. So if this happens again next season, like you say, with the defence being so poor, they are actually looking at relegation based on the stats this season. Yeah,
well, everyone's thinking, what will Tottenham be like without Harry Kane? It's a dilemma that... Daniel Levy is like, well, you should be selling him really with a year to go, because if you can get really good money, you should be doing that.
But what you're going to do without him?
And then, well, that's the $64,000 question. So what are you going to do then? You lose him, and then you've already got a lot of dissent from the stands at Tottenham. Tottenham, it's been building, it's been toxic for a while. So what's going to? Then you lose Kane, it's going to be directed again at people upstairs at the club.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, where do they go? Like, yesterday could have been the final game from Harry Kane, but we've said that before. At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, does he stay?
No,
does he
go? This is different this year. It's definitely different. You've got a guy going into his last year of his contract, and then you've got a scenario where Tottenham have been pretty awful, certainly in the last month and a half.
And just the turmoil, the managers, the hiring, the firing. I mean, Antonio Conte launching a grenade into his own office and then leaving. It's just been a mess.